He created the foundation for one of the greatest team goals in history, involving all but two of Brazil's outfield players. Pelé's blind pass into Carlos Alberto's sprinting path brought the play to a close. He scored by sprinting in from behind and hitting the ball. And on the largest platform of them all, the Brazilian number 10 solidified his place among the best players to ever play in football's premier competition. The youngest player to score in a World Cup, Edson Arantes do Nascimento, better known as Pelé, was 16 years old when he made his Seleção debut against Argentina, scoring his first goal in a losing effort, but his World Cup success was the foundation for most of his international reputation. Earning a call-up for the 1958 World Cup, which was contested in Sweden, he missed the first several games while recovering from a knee injury. Pelé became the youngest player to ever compete in a World Cup when he was chosen for the third match of the first round against the USSR on the recommendation of his teammates. Pelé contributed an assist to Vava's second goal, and by winning two of the group's 3 games, Brazil came out on top. In the quarterfinal matchup between Brazil and Wales, Pelé, who wasn't seen as a threat by the Welsh team, worked a little bit of magic to break the deadlock in the 66th minute. His sole goal was all Brazil needed to get to the semifinals. In the semifinals, Brazil took on France, who was led by Just Fontaine, the tournament's leading scorer with 8 goals. Pelé, however, had other ideas, with the teams level at 1-1 at the interval. With France down to 10 men, Brazil and Pelé dominated the remainder of the game as the Brazilian attacker single-handedly carried Brazil to the final with a stunning hat-trick in the space of 20 minutes. By the time the game ended, everyone in the world was talking about Pelé. People flocked to see this upcoming star in person. Unaffected by all of this, Pelé was focused on his goal. Brazil took on the host Sweden in the first, as the 1950 trauma still plagued the Brazilian team, despite their stellar accomplishments. Sweden got the game off to a wonderful start by taking the lead after only 5 minutes. Vava's 2 goals allowed Brazil to come from behind and take the lead in the 32nd minute, as they did not give up. Questions were looming about Pelé being under pressure on the big stage, but he silenced his detractors in the second half by netting a brace, a lob, and an accurate volley. Sweden lost, and the Samba boys won their first World Cup with a 5-2 victory. In the match, Pelé made history by becoming the youngest player to play in, score in, and win a World Cup final. Brazil were again tournament favorites by boasting a star-studded team for the 1966 World Cup. And after being forced to sit out the last World Cup due to injury, Pelé was prepared to compete in his 3rd World Cup and was eager to assist his squad. He scored a magnificent free kick against Bulgaria in Brazil's opening group match to become the first player to score in 3 straight FIFA World Cups. After losing to Hungary, Brazil was desperate to include Pelé, who wasn't entirely fit, in the starting lineup against Portugal in a must-win game. Unfortunately, João Moraes of Portugal closely tracked Pelé and aggressively tackled him, causing Pelé to sustain yet another injury. Since substitutions were not permitted at the time, Pelé remained on the field the entire game and battled, but Brazil eventually succumbed and were eliminated from the competition in the group stages. Post-match, Pelé pledged not to participate in any World Cup match after that one. The 29-year-old Pelé made a majestic comeback to the national team in early 1969, having participated in 6 World Cup qualifying games. Scoring 6 goals overall to secure his 4th consecutive World Cup appearance. It was anticipated that Pelé would retire after the 1970 World Cup in Mexico, as the Brazilian team from 1966 had been significantly changed. The majority of the top players from that era had already left the game. However, the 1970 Brazilian team, which had Pelé, Rivellino, Jairzinho, Gerson, Carlos Alberto Torres, Tostão, and Clodoaldo, is sometimes hailed as the greatest football team in history. It is impossible to discount Pelé's impact on Brazilian football during that time. By collecting Gerson's long pass with his chest and scoring, he gave Brazil a 2-1 lead to begin the campaign. When attempting to lob rival goalie Ivo Victor from the halfway line, Pelé just missed scoring a miracle goal. Pelé was involved in the save of the century in the following group game against the then defending champions England, when England goalkeeper Gordon Banks turned away Pelé's header. Pelé even remembers that as soon as he headed the ball, he was already saying goal. Finally, Jairzinho scored the long goal in the 60th minute after Pelé controlled a cross from Tostão and flicked the ball to him. Pelé simply couldn't be removed from the action. He scored twice against Romania, including one from a 20-yard free kick, and assisted Tostão on Brazil's 3rd goal in a 4-2 quarterfinal victory over Peru. Afterwards, Brazil and Uruguay met in the semifinals for the first time since their 1950 World Cup final encounter. By the 76th minute, Brazil was leading 2-1 and was on the verge of advancing to the finals. In the 90th minute, Rivelino converted Pelé's assist to put the final touches on the play. Additionally, Pelé made one of his well-known plays in this game. The Uruguayan goalkeeper has noticed Tostão's pass for Pelé. He sprinted off his line to intercept it before Pelé could touch it, but Pelé arrived first and used a feint to trick the goalie by not touching the ball, allowing it to roll to his left while he moved to his right. In an attempt to recover the ball, Pelé sprinted around the goalkeeper, and as he turned to shoot, the ball missed the far post due to Pelé's excessive spin. Oh, the sheer drama! Uruguay's World Cup dream dashed after the final whistle. A 3-1 victory took Brazil to the finals, where they were set to face Italy in the Aztec Stadium, Mexico City. The South American side endorsed high-pressing attacking football, whereas Italy were quite defensive in their approach. In the 18th minute, Pelé's thumping header found the back of the net for the opening goal of the contest, courtesy of Rivelino's cross. Coincidentally, that was Brazil's 100th World Cup goal. Pelé's celebration of the goal by leaping into the arms of teammate Jairzinho ranked right up there with some of the most memorable World Cup moments. Pelé showed no signs of slowing down as he contributed to Brazil's third and fourth goals, continuing his incredible performance. And Pelé was there in the middle of the action when Carlos Alberto Torres' spectacular goal put an end to their remarkable World Cup run. Throughout the competition, 53% of Brazil's goals were directly attributed to Pelé. Pelé is an integral part of Brazil's legacy in the FIFA World Cup, a legacy that permeates the world of football even today. His record remains unmatched to date, and even Brazil's greatest talents feel its burden. Neymar himself suggested that Qatar 2022 might be his final World Cup, not just due to his deteriorating physical condition, but also due to the pressure of upholding Pelé's World Cup heritage and the expectations that come with donning Brazil's fabled yellow shirt. Pelé is a World Cup icon, the likes of which the world may never see again.